Hey, welcome to Feisty Chess. Okay, we're meeting e4 with e5 here. We're playing against too low for 0, 369. All right, I'm going to play something wacky. I'm going to play the Elephant Gambit. It's tricky. Okay, and the move here after that capture is to push the pawn. Queen e2 is a good move here. Okay. Now I think I can just take with the queen here. And I'm hitting that knight, so I've got an initiative. So let's do that. I'll have to move the queen again eventually, but okay. I want to have a defender on that pawn. So we'll do like this, and we'll probably bring the queen back to e6. I'm looking at knight b5. I definitely can't go to c6. d8 also seems kind of reasonable, but I want to keep the queen as a defender here. If knight b5, then I've got knight a6, or just bishop d6. Okay, white's just going to get castled. Okay, I'm going bishop d6. I'm expecting a knight to come back to d4 here, and then I'll go queen e7, and I look okay. Actually, I think I got an advantage. Queen might be better on e7 anyway, so the bishop can get out on this diagonal. Probably castling kingside here, but I'm not committed to it yet. Okay, well, I can take en passant. But now, could also just castle. Yeah, that d4, now his knight can't come there. If I take en passant, I'm just kind of developing his queen. He wants to push d5, maybe? But then my queen has options. Okay, looking at knight g4 immediately, but that doesn't seem to work. Now I can't play knight c6. Actually, c6 looks like a good idea here. Let's do that. I really like my bishop. I feel like I want to attack here, but not sure how. Let's just go with c6, not get too far behind on the clock. He's planning maybe bishop f3 now that the queen might be in a pin. Let's bring her to f5. Yeah, now the bishop's not a big problem. This pawn is guarding both these squares. And the bishop... Oh, okay. Here it comes. Well, that's a pretty loosening move. I'm looking at bishop d6, queen h5. Doesn't lead to much, does it? Maybe queen h5 right now. And he has to make a pawn move to weaken things over there. It could cost me a little time, but I like that idea. Yeah, I can always go back to g6. Let's try this. Okay. Now I think coming to g6. Oh, wait, I've got... I could get my bishop here and just sacrifice this pawn. Bishop to h6. I'm playing a gambit anyway, right? Problem is, bishop h6, and he takes, and then he's threatening to push already. All right, let's go queen g6. I don't mind giving up pawns, but okay. Well, his king side is opening up quite a bit. Okay, my bishop isn't doing anything else here, so I'm going to plan it here, and we'll trade some bishops. I'll plan a recapture with a knight. This also keeps my queen from getting harassed by his bishop. Yeah, I want to keep those queens on, because look at how open this king is. The knight's not threatening anything immediately. Actually, wait, I am threatening knight takes h2 right now. That's a good move. I got to do something about my bishop. It's good because it also defends g3 here. Where does my bishop want to go? I think it's all right on c7. Keeping that on this diagonal. So if he tries... if he tries a knight to c5... If he tries this knight to c5, I can start going. Okay. Okay, knight to f6 is probably the place now. Do I want to open the G file? That seems a little extreme. Oh, wait. Oh, it is a check. Okay, it does seem extreme, but it makes him... I win a tempo doing this. Take with the pawn, and I'm still hitting this. So he has to defend. He can't go bishop f4. I don't know. It looks fun. It also solves any back rank problems I might have. Okay, he wants to do this. I'm happy to trade queens. I can... Got some development problems here. I'll just play knight. The problem with knight d7 is the queen trade. And then I'm holding on. I'm holding on. Maybe I just trade queens and then I can't play knight d7 though. Not really. Knight d7, queen takes. And then he's looking at trouble. He's got to go to f1. Yeah, okay, I'm going for knight d7. This means I have to recapture with the f pawn if he takes the queen. That's okay, because that straightens out my pawns anyway. And then if he goes rook e7, I've got this, which looks like I'll need to play. Well, okay. Now I can go here. And my king will come to f7, and that's pretty nice. All right, so we just got a regular ending here. Regular in the sense that I'm way down on time, as usual. Both of us have healthy pawns. Maybe white's a little bit better. Got an idea of b6 just to shut down that knight. The knight's already shut down, I guess. So I don't need to worry about that. My next moves are probably king f7, which actually is a major threat. You might not realize it. Okay. All right, he's giving me this d file now. My knight's guarding that pawn, so... Well, I still like king f7. Bishop g5 is not a very good move here. So I'm going to go for king f7. It's a good move, even though this pins this pawn. Now if he goes bishop g5, trying to pressure this pawn, this check is going to be a nasty one. Okay. All right, I think I'll take this. I got the check, and I start chowing pawns, but he can just block with the rook. I think I'm going to do this. I don't want that knight coming to a5. Fork both of those pawns. Okay. He's still giving me this check. Now I'm going to take it. I'm going to double rooks. He needs to block with a rook. We've each got our rooks doubled. My king is in a slightly better position than his. A little closer to the center. I gotta reorient my knight. This probably involves... okay. Let's go ahead and simplify. Takes with the king. I'm going to play g5. I'm going to move my king up a bit. Okay, his knight doesn't have much of a future there, does it? And they can play c3. Expand on the king side. Okay, where's my knight going? I don't see much future for my knight. I could probably get away with... okay. I'm all right with this. If he takes, I'll take with my knight, and now my knight has a future. His knight's coming to d5 either way. Let's take with the pawn. This way my knight still guards f6. Is he thinking about c6? He is. That is not really a threat here. I'm going to create an outpost. Oh, no, no, no. That's kind of the tactic I need. Okay, let's just save the pawn. Nothing complicated here. Whew. I'm looking at g4 next. If he takes, I need to take with the rook. Oh, but this looks bad. I'm losing a pawn after the trade of knights, aren't I? How to recapture. I think I can work something out here. This pawn is really a thorn for him. So my next move is this, and I'm winning that pawn, maybe with check. But he's going to have that passer on the outside. He might as well play a4 here. But this c-pawn might be a passer too. My king has more shelter from checks, although his king can come into the game pretty easily. I'm imagining I might get a bunch of pawns and have to sack my rook for this passer and see if my pawns can beat his rook. If the king gets a little too feisty in the center of the board, that might happen here. Okay. Okay, a4. The problem with this is after I take, I might just win. Yeah, this one as well. Now I'm threatening this with check. Okay, I might end up with 3 on 2. That looks likely, actually. Let's get behind that passed pawn. Let's not mess around. Okay, if I can get behind a pawn here. Yeah, okay, f5 will be a nice square for my king. I think this works. I think it's a little trap. He needs to, yeah, he needs to do that. Is this a Zugzwang? This is a dangerous place to be. This is really crazy. Does he step straight back? Does he step straight back? I'll wait for your move before I respond to a draw offer. Does he step straight back or does he go sideways here? I think you should go to one of the sides. Okay. If he takes, I'm going to have 2 connectors because I'll skewer him. Where's my king want to go? This is probably good. If he doesn't take, and if he tries to get it with the rook, I'll just defend with my rook and he'll have to go into a king and pawn, ending a pawn down. Looking good. This is looking good here. If he goes here with the rook, if he goes here, then my rook comes here. If he comes here with his rook, okay, here we go. Let's go for that pawn. He can't defend it now. I think this is a pretty routine win. Whew. Gonna make it. Thank goodness for that 5-second increment. We'll just advance our king. Ooh, I have to be careful not to advance. I'm going to go king up next. King up to g6 is what I want to do. Let's throw a check in, and then maybe cut his king off on the first rank. If he wants to come up to d6, then I've got a check for him on c5. Pawns cover my king quite nicely. I'm in ideal position to promote these babies. Okay, know thy endings. It's the golden rule here. Well, it's not so much knowledge, but having skill at endings is really key, obviously. Okay, when he moves his king, say to here, it's important that I not push this pawn, because then I will be subject to a tactic. Rook takes. So let's look at this line. King here. Pawn up, then rook takes, king takes, king takes, and I actually can't win that. It's a draw. So instead, if he plays up here, I'm just going to slide over here. Okay, well, looks like he really has left, so I'm going to claim that victory. And we'll just check it out, look at the victory in the analysis board. If he comes here, that check kicks him further away, and I'm just that much closer, well, to promoting. Yeah. No, hold on. He can get to f5 here. So some care is needed. Maybe like this. Then if he checks me, I can come up here and then advance the pawn another rank. Which is what I'll do either way. So check, check. He can come back here. I just push the pawn. Yeah, it's about over. If he goes this way instead, just slide all the way over and keep him on that first rank. And now the rook is kind of powerless to stop these pawns. I mean, he can come over and try some checks maybe, but the pawns will stop them, all while progressing even further. And now the king can't come over here because I've just got a mate. So my king's going to come up here. Yeah, pawns are promoting. So let's look at the whole game. Elephant Gambit. So here the best move, I believe, for white is queen to e2. Then it goes knight f6, and I think d3 or knight c3. I can't remember which one is supposed to be better. Anyway, we got out of book very quickly with knight just moving to d4. So then I got my pawn back, and it's not even a gambit anymore. I learned recently that this is called the Paulson counter gambit, as you can see here. Lewis Paulson is my hometown hero. I'm here in Dubuque, Iowa, and Paulson was the guy who started our chess club and who invented a great many chess openings. So there's lots of Paulson things to play. I like to play the Paulson attack in the Vienna game, and I've started playing the Elephant Gambit, and apparently when you play e4, which is the right way to play it, right here, that's called the Paulson counter gambit. So Paulson, I'm guessing, is the one who first played e4 here, which turned out to be the best move. But to be fair, the Elephant Gambit is not favored by computers at all, and the computer line is very counterintuitive. It involves the queen coming back to d1, but white gets to keep the pawn and basically solve all of his other problems. But it's a good way to play against humans. I've discovered. Yeah. Okay. Let's turn on the computer. Yeah, provoking that weakness, I think, was long-term a good idea. And now his king doesn't have any shelter here, but that didn't end up being the way the game panned out. But that might have been why white was in such a hurry to trade queens here. So this is the line I was looking at. The rook holds things together, and that's nice. And now he doesn't have another rook he can back it up with, so he's just got to take, probably. Or maybe he can come back here, but I can just... I don't want to play king there. Probably my knight. This looks kind of strange. I mean, his rook's just got to come back. I can... Anyway, that might have been a better move, even though I had things answered. But bishop h6 immediately just allows me to challenge the file and then get my king up. Let's go back. I wanted to... This is the exciting part. Like, what if he grabs the knight? And I hadn't worked all this out, actually. So king f1. And I do at least have a perpetual here. But I definitely want more than a perpetual. King h8 looks pretty good. Yeah, now that open G file is pretty deadly, isn't it? He can't... So if he takes the bishop, he has no king moves here. So if he takes the bishop, here's the check, and there's the mate. Very simple. What else could he do here? After this, you can try this defense, but same difference. Same difference. Mate on G2. Wow. There it is. So yeah, that G file with G takes. Sometimes it's good to open your own files, even in front of your king. I mean, it all depends on the concrete details of the situation. So this is why probably Queen G5 is the best. G4 is the best move. It's a computer recommended move. Yeah, it likes Knight D7 too. I was happy to find that. I didn't see all those lines with Queen takes Knight here. And obviously if king h1, then just queen comes to h2 for mate. Yeah. But I suspected that I had enough, and that open file was a big part of that. So instead, the trade of queens, and now this would be a big blunder, capturing towards the middle, inside. Oh wait, well, still all right. Does like rook. It does like rook e7, rook f7, then rook e2. Bishop d6. Okay, and then I can get a rook on the e-file next move. And it's a pretty even game, similar to how the game went. Oh, rook e2 check does work out here. I didn't go for this. So he's got to block here or he loses this pawn. So he blocks with the rook and then takes with the king. g5. Aha. Well, it's not. It's trying to trap the bishop with the idea of king here and then there, and the bishop has no squares. But he can. That still works. H takes g5, king here, and he can't take there because I'll grab the bishop. And he has no way. Well, he can support it with the rook. Rook h1, right? Rook e1 also works, I suppose. F takes. And what have I gained? Material is even. But actually, knight f6. Oh, it tells him to just give up the bishop. What if he says like something else? What if he goes here? Knight takes. And I'm not going to capture the bishop, but I just have an extra piece, don't I? Bishop e5. And his rook is just nothing but a passive player here. Whereas my rook is going to come into the game here, maybe there, maybe hit that weak pawn. Okay, well, I saw that idea, but I didn't see it immediately right then. I wonder if this is good right now. Yeah, it is pretty good. But it's better after the rook trade on f2. Okay, I should have seen that. I should have acted on that. I think maybe I only saw it until later. I saw the best way to do. I thought I had to get my king to f2 first. I didn't think I had time because I thought this maneuver would save the bishop. But it turns out I could have done that immediately, and the king is. It's not about speed actually. It's just the bishop has nowhere to go. It's a permanently trapped piece. Okay, but he got it out of there. And still here I'm looking good. Knight b6. Oh, I played b6 instead. I'm still okay. Knight b6 is a little more active. I wanted to play solid though. Oh, where did black go wrong? Not until much later, I think. It does like knight takes c5 better. Oh, they're sort of equal. These pawns are now weaker because neither of them can defend the other. But my knight's still defending this, so that gives me some time to do other things. But he didn't go for that. He went for this pawn. It likes knight c6 better, huh? What if there? Rook a4. Just tickling some weaknesses. And then we're going to get our king further to the center, I guess, to e6. Okay. I took here, he went there. Yeah, and at this point I thought I was in some doo-doo. If I take with the pawn, this is obviously a check and it's going to win my a-pawn right away. But I found this. Let's see, take with the pawn. Yeah, much worse, much worse. So take with the rook. Oh, and it likes b4. But there's rook f5 check first. I don't see the point of that because the king just gets closer to the action with king e3, right? E3, oh, and then you've got this. And now you're going to win this pawn. Right? Is that the idea? Well, a5. Okay. Well, I found this nice idea, and I think maybe this is better for him here. What if he goes here? Rook b5 anyway. Yeah, that's the follow-up. So you might as well just take a pawn. Now, is a4 a mistake? It is. Rook takes b2. Yeah, rook c2. And it's better to attack from c2 rather than b3 because his king could come back up. And now, when I take here, his king has to defend. It likes rook c2. Yeah, and this is a draw. I had a little more chance if I'd gone rook a2, king e3, king f5. Yeah, these three pawns over here are monsters, really. So I can envision an ending where, let's say, okay, let's play this out. Like, check him there, and he goes for this. Now I'm getting both of these pawns. If he wants to take here, I just grab this one. Well, yeah, this is really bad. Let's say though, even if I have to give up my my whole rook here, let's say I make a stupid move like this. Yeah, rook e8, and then the king has to go. And then you can promote. I just take, and here the three pawns are probably better than. Yeah, move the most advanced one. Better than the rook. Rook a3 check. King g4. Rook a4 check. King f5. And his king is just so far away. It would be a different story perhaps if the king were closer, but yeah, a lot of rook endings end like that. Anyway, this one ended more simply without having to do anything wild like that. Even here, c2, and let's say king here. Rook c3. Oh, that's beautiful. I was looking at this kind of stuff. And then I'm giving up. Ooh, but those pawns are not good enough in this scenario. Those pawns are not good enough to win. g3. Yeah, it's giving. White can hold, but it might be a question of technique. It's often hard to do that. But look at this. Rook c3 is beautiful. It basically threatens a immediate mating attack. And if he takes, well, then now I get the queen. I still have to be careful, but mate in 21. King c4, and I suppose this is the simplest way to get it. Yeah, you're going to get that pawn. Okay. I do enjoy a good rook ending, but I missed some good stuff there. I thought, yeah, king d1. If he goes king c1, this is not as good, because now he's in zugzwang. He can't move his king or I promote with check. So he has to move the rook. Then I grab here. And wow, my king is in good enough position. And like in the game, I can just either force a trade of rooks, which is going to be a winning ending for me, or I'm going to grab this pawn. And there's nothing to be done. So this is similar to how the game went. King e4, yeah, that makes sense. I was worried about this. And he gets one of my pawns, but rook c7 now, and this should be easy to win. So but this is, oh, that's way worse apparently. This is almost drawing now. Rook b3. Okay, this is my plan. I go rook c7. Rook takes c3, and now this is not winning? I would think this is winning. King f5. No, how? Wow, white king has a good enough position. Okay, well, I should have gone for it with king. Just jump in the middle of the board with the king here. Yeah, I'm glad I found c2. My own opponent offered me a draw at some point in here. Yeah, and this is where the game ended. But at this point, it's more or less over. Let's see, the line we looked at was... I guess just here is good. Yeah, those pawns are too powerful. Anyway, I've been at this a while, so thanks for sticking with me. Hope you learned something about rook endings. I always like when I have a good rook ending. They're very instructive and very fun. So stay feisty, folks. See you next time.